down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy investors? Thanks for tuning in to the Savvy Radio Show. Yep, back in action, trying to get it done. I'm in the trenches, and it's distracting. Life, people, family, it's what it is. But you got to stay consistent. That's what I've been learning. That's a few things I'm going to chat about today. You got to stay consistent. Even when things are getting rough, when people are slapping you in the face, you just got to keep your head up and keep on rolling, right? You know, you can't be successful, aka wealthy, or whatever you want, putting your head down and saying boo-hoo. Number one, in the trenches, oh man, you never know when a deal is coming, and you got to be ready. So I had lunch with somebody. The least person that I would ever think that would ever materialize into a transaction happened. And it was actually, I called this individual for lunch because I'm working on a project, and I'm going to reveal that here pretty soon in the next couple episodes. And I'm having lunch with this individual, and this individual is, not a real positive person. And the edge of retirement has kind of been bitter, frustrated, borderline angry about life. I don't know why you can be angry about life. Things didn't go well for this individual, but it's okay. But I really appreciate this person and their candor. When I ask them a question or this is what I'm thinking, and I'm always ready because I know it's going to be a little bit negative, but I kind of need the negativity, aka devil's advocate, just so I got my bearings. And when I'm building a new business or going in a new direction, I like to get other people's opinion, and I may agree or disagree, but usually it's the perspective that I love the most, something that I didn't consider, and it's just powerful. Anyway, I'm having lunch with this individual, kicking it, and I throw my idea out. First of all, you got to be respectful of their time. I listen to them, where are they at, how they doing, and then I go, hey, this is my situation. This is what I'm trying to do. What do you think about this? And he gave me great feedback. It was like, wow. It wasn't, I always I always kind of quantify in my mind, is this worth it? Is this lunch worth it? Is this time worth it? And I was like, man, this was time well spent. Right at the end, this individual is in real estate. He's like, hey, I'm getting out of real estate. I got one more rental. Are you interested? And I was like, always. And boom, popped up a deal. And even in this climate, in this market where there's so many people involved, so many people trying to buy deals, there's deals to be had. Number one, you never know where they're going to come from. And when they do, you need to be ready. That's in the trenches. Number two, don't ever leave it up to chance. That's the thing. Don't leave it up to chance. Maybe or maybe not. No, you need to make that phone call. You need to hear that. You tuned in today. You need to make that phone call. You need to write that letter. You need to forgive or whatever it is. Don't leave it up to chance. Don't assume they understand. Your staff member, did they do the renewal? Was the lease double checked? Was it updated? Ask and then verify. Don't leave it to chance. Man, I'm telling you right now, I'm getting slammed in certain areas. And don't leave it to chance. It goes into number three, which, I had this severe pain in my foot. It's really bizarre. I've been trying to run, and there was this part on my foot that was like a tack. Every time I walked on barefoot, it was like a tack. Like someone was stabbing this one part of my foot. And I'd be throwing my foot up in my wife's face. I was like, shit, yo, what is this? And she was like, nothing, and looks like calluses. And I was like, man, I was in severe pain. Like I had to walk around shoes and my feet get sweaty. I'm not a big fan of socks and shoes all day. And I was just kind of at my wits. So man, it was about, I don't know, 3 weeks of pain. Or more, maybe a month. And I decided, I was like, I had to throw my hands up and surrender. And I was like, I'm gonna see a doctor. I don't know a foot doctor. Matter of fact, I did. Somebody I met. I called this dude up. He's way behind, like a month behind. I was like, man, well, if there's availability, someone cancels, man, I'm so glad I made the phone call. And that's the question for you. Don't leave it to chance. Number three, make the phone call. They called me back. I ran down there as an environment I've never been to, in a hospital I've been to, fill all this paperwork. I'm sitting in the chair with my foot up, and he's like, boom, it's a blister over a callus under a callus blister. He's called the cone blister. Within 2 seconds, I'm still talking to the dude. He whipped out a knife and cut it out, and instantaneously I could walk with no pain. Man, it was just like freedom. And I realized, man, is that what it is in life? That we just don't deal with it and it's causing us pain? We have a thorn in our flesh and we just don't deal with it. We just run from it. I didn't want to go to the hospital because I didn't know a hospital. I didn't, or a doctor. I didn't want to put it on Facebook and ask for a recommendation. Or I knew this dude, but he was busy. And, every time I seemed to call him, I had, plantar or whatever it is in my foot. And he was willing to give me a steroid shot. And it's just, but it was so much pain. And that's the thing. You got to create pain. You got to make the call. That's number 3. Create the pain to make the call. Number 4, man, I've been up and down in my world right now, exercising, trying to gain in weight, frustrated. And I realize even if you don't have motivation, you don't want to do it, you got to do it. You got to get out there. I'm telling you, I just ran and I was just bummed that I had been waiting so long to run. It's been like a month. Now, granted, I could be excuses and say, yeah, I had that callus cone that was killing me, but I should have did it anyway. And all these things are domino effects, right? You just got to, even if you don't have the motivation, go out and do it. With that said, music works. I was running 5 a.m. I didn't want to run. Now, I had some people in my life, some homeboy. He was been working out at 5 a.m. and I'm meeting with him at 9, and he's like, he's doing it. I'm like, I'm not doing it, but he's doing it. I'm like, whoa, why is he doing it? I'm not doing it. And and then I turned on the music and got me juicy. And I finished that little 2-mile run, right? Man, I'm so far behind. And then I turned on, after I stopped running, I turned on Eric Thomas. Oh, E.T. Sometimes you got to go back to your roots. Sometimes you got to go back to read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Remember where you came from. Sometimes you got to go back, maybe it's to the Guns N' Roses. I don't know what's going to get you motivated. Music works. Motivational stuff works. On YouTube, type in Eric Thomas, E-R-I-C, Thomas. Do it. Another thing, number 6, keep in mind the law of diminishing intent. Jim Rohn. Listen, I've been struggling. I'm going to go into it in a couple more episodes coming up, so get ready. I'm doing Entrepreneur Week. Okay, Entrepreneur Week coming on strong. I can tell you reasons why, what's cracking in the Savvy Radio Show world. But when I was struggling and I'm not motivated, and then I bought a book. I started reading a book. It got me motivated. Then it led me into a course, a $10 course on Udemy that led me to this, and it made me motivated to keep pushing. So, a lot of people just buy things to motivate them. I was that person, right? When I worked hard, I was broke and poor. I would when CDs were hot, I would go to Best Buy and treat myself to a new CD because I deserved it, right? So I tried to get that bad habit broken. I had for years, because you ain't gonna get rich buying stuff, especially at Best Buy. You should never even go in that deal. And I try to do the same thing with books. I'm like, man, do I really need that book? Do I have enough time to read that book? Am I going to be engaged? Am I going to commit to it? I noticed, though, I did buy the book, and I did start reading it, and it was a book on money, and I was like, wow, it motivated me. It got me the ball moving, and at this point in time, it got me moving in the right direction. Another thing in the trenches, number 7, credit cards. Chase Manhattan Bank. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but I got jammed up at a hotel. I got my family with me, and we went to this hotel that was just so whack and stained and smelled so bad. It was horrendous. Like borderline, I went right on Google and put up a review. I'm just not like that, blasting people. Then I went up to the front, and I was like, yo, can I this ain't working out. This is not the room for us. And we would like to just not get our money back. And they just went off on me. It's your fault. You booked online. Wow. And they don't even know, like, I booked it through them. They just went ballistic. Now, obviously they were in pain. When people start going off on you, that means they're in pain. They're coming from some environment it's not right. And it was just crazy. And I just realized, credit cards, I don't need to get all in a tussle with people. I was like, okay. And I just walked out. My thank you for purchase protection, Chase Manhattan. Number 8, partnerships can work. Now, this is just me in the trenches. I mean, I'm in the middle of a bunch of little stuff. I hear it all the time that partnerships don't work. And they do if you will, just like a marriage. People say 50% of marriages fail. Well, partnerships is like a marriage. You got to understand where you're coming from and where you're going, and the type of person that you're with, and what that you can contribute. And if you can't contribute, or you thinking, I used to think that I contribute too much, I overdo it or whatever. You can do. I always say to myself, I outwork people. That's just not the smart thing to say. But I realized I'm in a partnership right now. It's brand new with somebody. I barely know this dude, but he's doing a good job, and I feel like I'm doing a good job. And we constantly reaffirm each other. Hey, this is what I'm doing, and this is what we're doing, and we have a simple goal in mind to make a simple cash flow. And it's cool to be in a partnership. Now, that's for right now, okay? So, know your partner first, write it down, and be the difference that it can work. All right, number 9. I've been trying to do a podcast on this, and I don't know, one day I'm going to get to it, but you never know. Get rich in your niche. Bam, get rich in your niche. Now, I don't know if you've been following me for a while, but I had an Airbnb. I've been in the office buildings. I've been in all kinds of endeavors, and Airbnb didn't work out the way I thought it was. Dollar bills weren't falling from the sky. Let me tell you, just like any other hustle, it takes work. It's just not easy. It's never easy being cheesy, right? It's just not easy trying to make money, and it's not easy. It's just not easy. But what I did find, I'm in Branson. And I love it when I meet someone that's in the real estate, actually in the real estate way more than I am, passionately. This dude is killing it on Airbnb. I'm talking, it's so nutty that the laws are changing so fast here that they make you have a sprinkler system in a house just to maintain these whacked out laws. But this dude was so cheesy about it, so madly in love with it. I was like, I couldn't even coach him. I'm like, this is how I did my Airbnb, man. When someone broke a plate, boom, I just ordered it from Amazon. It was a one click. This dude like shops at TJ Maxx on a regular, but I saw it in his eyes. I saw that he was passionate. I saw that he loved what he was doing. I'm like, what color are your sheets? He's like, I just go buy them at TJ Maxx. And I'm like, no, that's not how you do it. You need to do white sheets. And so you could bleach it. And it was just interesting. I just kept getting punked. And I was like, this work. And I saw his passion because he was getting rich in a niche. What's your niche? What are you? What do you want to be? What do you want to become? Whatever it is, develop it, grow it, be in it, get rich in your niche. Find a passion for it. You can do it. Passion trumps problems. Ooh. Passion overcomes all things. Number 10. Now, I told you earlier with the music, number 5, E.T. And so, I've been struggling. I think I just got out of my lull of just, I don't know what's going on in my life, scratching for straws here. And E.T. said this, Eric Thomas said this on the Dr. CD, and he said, you are where you are because the way you think. You are where you are because the way you think. You are where you are because the way you think.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.